Wondering, if you've been wondering, will Tesla ever be worth buying again? I'm scratching my head on this one, folks, because Tesla keeps basically getting slapped in the face with all this kind of bad information. But let's take a look at the chart. Let's jump right over there and see what the heck is going on. This is the daily chart. Note that Tesla is working its way back below the 8-day moving average. It is below every one of the major moving averages and continues to fall from the sky. It is stuck in a downtrend, although here of late, yeah, this information right here is, pretty good information in that. I'll just draw a little box around all of that and let you see it. It is doing a consolidation. However, the fall from 171 down to the bottom of the consolidation equals about 6% or $10.83. So I'm looking to, if the market continues to show weakness, I'm thinking about doing a bear put spread. That would be a debit spread. And I normally do those in 1 to 2 week increments. I'll look out to next week, since we're on Wednesday. Look out to next week, the weekly option chain. Take a look at the 170 down to the 167.50 or the 165. Do that as a debit spread. That would be very interesting in that. And then what I would do is I would set it up where I would take some of my profits off the table when I hit 35% and take some more of my profits off the table when I hit 65%. I do not try to ride those directional spreads all the way until they're almost worthless. That's no bueno. It doesn't work very well that way. So, hey, if you were joining us, I appreciate you coming on, watching this recording. For whatever reason, StreamYard, and this is just really bad advertisements for StreamYard could not connect to do a live connection with YouTube earlier today. So I'm recording this in order to put it out and save it, and show it later when they get their wires uncrossed at StreamYard. And so, of course, StreamYard is probably going to come out and blame YouTube, but what the heck. Anyway, so that's what I'm looking at. But let's take another look. The reason I'm not going to do a longer time put or a downside trade on Tesla is it does have earnings coming up here on the 23rd of April. It could also just bounce right off of here. I drew this little box in here, this little consolidation box. We drop out the bottom of 161, 168. Look for it to continue to drop down to the 152 level. Move on down from there. What happens? Well, take a look on the weekly chart. The monthly chart. The monthly chart provides us some additional downside targets. 118.80. Let's say 120, 101, 81. Let's say 102. And then if we break out the bottom of that, watch the heck out for $65. Now, a year ago, I would not have believed Tesla would have gotten down to $65. However, in the patterns we see going on with right now, it makes it a downside, a viable downside target. Does it have to get there? No, it doesn't. If it turns around, reverses, Elon Musk pulls a rabbit out of the hat again, it could bop up and take off and do another rally. At the same time, though, it's looking kind of ugly. It's down below the 8-month moving average and continuing to fall. And you can see here on the momentum, the momentum still has a ways to go before it can bottom out and reverse off. Now, I'm going to be watching really close if it gets down here to the lower level here and does reverse, because if I can pick up momentum shifts on a monthly chart from the very bottom, line up for a huge move to the upside. So that's what we're looking at with Tesla. Yeah, let's basically just do a real quick stop the screen share. There's that handsome guy. And I'm going to jump back in and say, well, one, I want to welcome to Market Tech Talk. I do this every Wednesday. Normally it's a live stream. Today it's a recorded live stream. I'm live while I'm actually doing this. I wish I had some interaction where you guys could ask me a question. I will ask you one question, though. As we design our content for our YouTube channel, Market Tech Talk, if there's any specific areas you would like us to cover in video format on the channel, we do right now three podcasts. We have the Trade Your Way to Freedom podcast on Friday. We talk about the stocks, the ETFs, and our stocks, leverage ETFs, the indexes, or the trading tips, technical analysis tips that we also show on a, we can also do. And so let me know what you would like to see, because I'd like to build something and video something just for you. So let's go ahead and jump over into, let's go and share our screen again. I want to be taking a look at, let's take a look at what the stocks in the news. What's going on? Dow dies 525 point on hot CPI inflation report. One of the things I was also taking a look at is the Fed, of course, is sitting there going, oh, man, we wanted to lower rates. Now, did they want to lower rates because they want? Yeah, they say that they don't, and I won't give them no, I won't give them the benefit of the doubt. But it makes me wonder, is with inflation so hot and heavy, I know it's impacting my wife and I, Michelle and I mean, have you ever noticed how much, $100 doesn't buy at the grocery stores anymore? Our food prices went up almost 100%, and it's just the two of us over the last 3 years. And, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And so, fortunately, we do quite well, but I just wonder, how do other people make it? I mean, gosh, could you imagine? Never mind. I'm not going to go there. I don't want to let my off the wall humor get me in trouble with anybody out there. But anyway, dies. Crypto changes. Crypto slide on inflation report, and then Bitcoin halving ahead. What does it say for Bitcoin halving ahead? What the heck is that? Let's check that out real quick. And what's that talking about? Elsewhere, Sam Bankman-Fried. What a great name for somebody who just cheated the public, because he certainly got fried. So I wonder when he has to turn himself in for that. Anyway, crypto news. Meanwhile, the highly anticipated Bitcoin halving event is just days away. And so Bitcoin oil fell to $68,000 following the latest inflation data, after hitting an all-time high of $73,798. That's huge. Bitcoin spiked, and how's the halving going to work? That's the question I want to know. And so, yeah, if you know, drop a note in the chat box over on the YouTube channel when this gets posted, to let us know what the heck that means. What does it mean, halving? I mean, are they going to actually do? Is it mean like a stock split, or is it just going to? So yeah, interesting stuff. Dow Jones dies amid Fed worries. Well, speaking about Fed worries, let's take a look at what it could be worrying about. Currently, our rates are at 5.25 to 5.5, and guess what? 96% chance that it's going to stay that way for the May meeting. What about June? Still staying up there in the 5.25 area. That's the probability it'll stay there. I find it interesting to note it doesn't, I'm wondering, okay, here on September, that's kind of the last time they have an opportunity to lower the rates prior to. And they show a 46% chance of it basically. Let me see if I can see that. There we go. Get that up a little bit. 46 of it dropping down to 5.0 to 5.25%, with still 33% to stay where it's at right now. And what, the thing about inflation that makes it really tough, folks, as you're aware, is what was it? What was the inflation rate last year? Was it 6, 7, 8%, something like that? Well, the administration's bragging about how low the inflation rate is this year. Oh, it's only 3%. But this 3% stacks on top of, that's what they don't tell you. They don't tell you that stuff. It stacks on top of the inflation from the year before. So while we don't want necessarily disinflation per se, but things don't go back to what we were paying 3 years ago. Will gas get back down to less than $3 a gallon? I don't know. We'll see. So that's what's going on with the Fed. And so my thought is, if the Fed doesn't lower rates by September or even July, because July, there's still, 60%, 59% that it's going to stay at 5.25. And that, I don't know if that's far enough away from the election that it's not going to have an impact or not. We'll see. The other thing I'm looking at, so that's that IBD. So we talked about and we will talk about some of the Magnificent Seven, and also take a look at the leaders, ARM and NVDA. Did you see the news on NVIDIA? One thing, NVIDIA surges and one of the things you can do is, if you're plagued with emotional trading or compulsive trading, is condition yourself to look at the market. Hey, wait a second. I'll come back to that. Condition yourself to look at the market and just observe without and try to stay emotionally neutral. And here's a great tip for staying emotionally neutral on what's going on in the market. Recognize and understand that whoever's writing the headlines or talking the headlines on the financial channels are trying to do one thing. They're trying to get you excited, because they know, they've known for a long time, excited traders make dumb decisions, and they basically wind up trading very poorly. And so if you can learn to recognize the words, such a, like here's a great one. Forget NVIDIA. This AI powerhouse demands a look right now. All of those things are intended to basically stimulate your emotions. So if you recognize that, you can stand back and basically just run up the BS flag as often as you can concerning that. So let's take a look at some of these. I know y'all probably knew that, but just, So here's the big deal on Tesla. Price targets come down as Wall Street predicts lower 2024 deliverables. Let's see how much they are targeting. Where are they targeting prices for Tesla? And here we go. Jeffrey Analysis lowered his Tesla stock price target to 165 to 185. You know what? Jeffries, Felipe, or whatever your name is, what a load of unadulterated crap. Price action on it is already at 172. So, this is a real stretch. I can see watching this. I'll get over there. But that's a real stretch that, oh, here's my target. And it's like, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Jeffrey analyst lowers. He doesn't even lower it. Maybe he lowered his price target, but gee, many Christmas. And that was their previous price target, somewhere between 205 and 225. Well, you know, the AutoPilot Trader's target for Tesla is down at between 102 and 118. So there. And there are a couple of guys. And the reason why they're saying this is that they're heavily negative. Yeah, they're not that heavily negative. And the big deal though is EPS. On all seriousness, you know, all seriousness, is that Tesla's EPS is in fact falling and dropping, and they're expecting it not to improve until sometime in 2025. There's a lot of downside on this, and so you know anybody who recently bought Tesla, you know, my hat's off to you. You know, you probably know something that the rest of the we don't. You know, the rest of us don't know. And you know, and you know more than the fundamentals. You know more than the downtrend of the stock going, I'm falling. Anyway, that's enough about that. Let's go ahead and jump over into what else we got going on here. Yeah, let's go over and take a look at the stocks. Oh, one of the very interesting. There was and I hope I can find it, but there was a comment that was made about Warren Buffett stock showing sell signals. So with that, you know, let me see if it's right on the front page of this. Nope. So anyway, very interesting. One of the other things you want to be keeping your eye on is this. I don't think it's going to show up here, but currently the IBD has indicated that it's a good idea to not, you know, your exposure should be not more than 50%. I'm sitting currently about 53% exposed, and I've got some really great trades going on, but they're in the inverse leverage ETFs. And so if you like to learn more about leverage inverse ETFs, stay tuned because I'm going to be covering a couple of those here shortly. One of the other entities that I wanted to show you, this is one of the I don't trade off of this, but this is the percentage of stocks on the NYSE that are above their 20-day moving average. It has fallen down below the 33 level. So 30, that means almost 34% of the stocks on the NYSE are below their 20-day moving average right now. Normally, when this measurement or this gets down below the 30 level, I like it when it's down here to 25, down to 15 level. That's when it tends to predict or support a reversal on the indexes, in particularly the S&P, well, all three of the indexes. So if you're not familiar with utilizing this, it's over on bar chart. I've been using this for years. It does a great job when it, like I said, if we get down below 30 to all the way down to 10, if we're in a really bad bear market, we'll get down to 10 or even down to 5% above their 20-day moving average. That almost always leads, or at least is uncanny in predicting when the market is going to turn back around. And then that doesn't mean it does it immediately, but it does it within several days. So if you're not familiar with that, really take a look at it in the future, and let me know what you think. So let's go ahead and stop the share, and then share the. Let's go ahead and look at the. Let's look at some stocks. I always love to look at stocks. So we've already beat to death Tesla in so many ways. So as I said, if it closes below the 8, yeah, that gives you a clue that we're heading on down. So let's take a look at a couple other ones. NVDA. Is NVDA really a buy right now? Well, one of the things to be clearly, NVDA on a daily chart looks pretty strong, but it has not broken the structure on its momentum yet, although the daily momentum is starting to shift. And also look at the RISI. Even though we're getting a nice little push up into the 8-day moving average, we can also draw this line across here. If we break above the 8, look for it to go back on up, up and up to the past highs about 972. But is this really a buy? I think you have to take a look at the longer term weekly charts. And on the longer term weekly charts, I'll have to say that it appears as if it is favoring more, pullback. Maybe a pullback all the way down to this level here. Keep your eye on it. If prices close below the 8-week moving average, watch for it to repeat what it did over something similar to what it did over in this area here. And that zone there, just to give you an idea, from the high down to the low was about a 22% correction. And then it bought back up. This is what I'd be expecting from NVDA is we get a close below the 8, and then we go into a consolidation pattern. The other question to ask yourself, is how long did it consolidate? Well, it consolidated from there to there. That turns out to be 175 days, almost a half a year, 6 months. So that's what we've got going with that. ARM is another. Okay, ARM is battling NVDA for the top spot in the that chip AI market, and we are investing, or we are buying ARM. It's put in a nice little consolidation pattern between about 120 up here. It is really volatile. We had actually been in the stock from over here. It ran up, hit our 10% profit target, and then immediately yesterday reversed and came down and took out our trailing stop. So the whole trade was profitable. I'm very pleased with that. But it went wham, bam, all in the same day. That move from there to there, look at that. That's an 8.5% move in one day. So now it's back down into a consolidation pattern. Take a look at it on the weekly. And if you look at, and it has earnings coming up on the 8th and the 8th of May. And so I like it at the bottom, towards the bottom, of the range there. And also into this zone here, this zone right here, which is a Fibonacci retracement from this low to that high. So that's the 50% retracement on that move right about there. So that's what I'm looking at with ARM. Let's go back. And so what about the rest of the Magnificent Seven, the Magnificent Seven? Apple is way below all of its moving averages. Does it need is it time for it to do a rally attempt? Sure, that could happen in the very near future. But note, 200-day moving average up here at 183. How far is that from where we are right now? Let's just take a real quick. That's only about 8%. So it's not, huge. The other thing I find interesting about Apple is we are just about at this strong support over here, but it's still digging. The momentum is still digging down. It's getting darn close to though where it's not going to have any place to go except to reverse up, or it will drag along that bottom line as it continues to fall. Earnings on that one coming up on 5/2 also. Go back. Amazon on the Magnificent Seven. Amazon actually is holding up really well. I mean, it really is. It is stuck in kind of a little trading range here, but as you see, it's pushed on up. It has earnings coming up on the 25th of April, and I will. It is really close to a past all-time high. Did we make it up there? We made it up to 187.34. The all-time high is 188.11. Note, and I'm going to put out maybe you guys would like to see a video on how to utilize the 8-period moving average. We adopted this in the AutoPilot trading service system because it basically provides an absolutely stellar line of demarcation to plan trades off of, both on the daily, the weekly, and guess what? Intraday and monthly time periods. That's what I like to do. That's the way I like to do, almost everything I have on my chart. I want it to be where I can use the same indicators, the same moving averages across all of my charts time frame, because it saves so much time and I don't have to try to tune something up for a 5-minute chart. Of course, I never trade a 5-minute chart simply because I'm a swing trader. I don't need that stuff. Anyway, so that's what's going on with Amazon. Where do I want to buy it at? Probably back. I'll wait till it gets back against the 8-week moving average. Google next. Google, similar type situation as you see. It's breaking out the new highs. It came back, hit this. Well, it came back, did a nice reversal. Momentum shifted up. The the momentum, as you can see here, there was a line that as soon as the momentum shifted, that was the trigger to buy on Google. On the weekly chart, what does that look like? Here was the trigger to buy on Google, bouncing back off of the 200-day moving average. Now that's a very uncomfortable place to get something. But as soon as you get your close back above the 8-day moving average, or you pierce it, then your 8-day moving average can become your line of demarcation, because the 8-day is approximately at that point only about 4% above the lower Keltner channel, which is a 1.5 ATR Keltner channel, and my 8-day or 8-period or 8-day moving average is the EMA. So that looks pretty good. Again, anytime I'm going to pull back into that 8-day moving average would give us you an opportunity to jump on a trade. Meta also looking all right. See, it's continuing to push up and try to hit new highs. Again, all those have earnings come up here very shortly. Microsoft also just respecting the heck out of the 8-week moving average you see here. And so if you want it, what you can do is just basically project out where the 8-week will be next week. And that's where you can put an alert. And then you can act off of that alert if you want to. So let's go back here. NVDA, we covered. I think I've gotten everything. So now here is so one of the things coin is with the split of Bitcoin, okay, the halving. Who knows? The miners and the banks, Coinbase may get a push to the upside. Note we're doing a nice little flag here. TSI is the momentum TSI indicator is right at the 0 line where it could break up to the upside. Volume's a little bit low. As you can see down here, volume's a little bit low. And but if you're looking to buy this, there you go. Breaks that flag line, that changes your structure, and it could move back up to the upside. Along with that, I'm keeping my eye on entities like Mara. Marathon is a is in the Bitcoins or in the crypto space. It is coming down, and the moves on Mara are just insane. From this low over here to that high right there, that was 41%. They did that in 10 days. This repeats those kind of patterns quite often. Is it getting close to where it's ready to make a bounce again? At this point, I can't say for sure yes, but that is an inverted hammer, which is a bullish reversal signal on the daily chart. My market forecast, as you can see, is getting a 3-line cluster. And normally with a 3 or 2-line cluster on the market forecast, you get a reversal up to the upside within 1 to 4 trading periods. What about over on the daily chart? A correction on the weekly chart. Now, the weekly chart paints a slightly different picture. The support on the weekly is actually down here about $15, $14.70 level, and a little bit higher. And so we do not have a reversal on the weeklies yet. But again, this is where you want to be taking a look at drawing in some trend lines. And when that breaks to the upside, and we have the rest of the formations happening up here on the weekly charts with a reversal hammer and reversal candlestick at support and TSI or momentum shifting back up, that's a good thing. Note, I've got a 2-line cluster on this down at the lower on the market forecast on the weekly chart. What else we want to take a look at today? Okay. Excuse me. Oh, yes, I remember. We want to take a look at the indexes themselves. So I'm going to go grab the Qs, and we'll see what's going on with the Qs. I'll start here with a weekly chart. Note what's happened here is the Qs broke this uptrend line. Actually, it broke this uptrend line. Let me pull it back in here. About there, or maybe even there. And so that broke structure. However, I'm going to get rid of that for right now because I don't need it. However, it broke structure. However, it's just moved sideways since then. And so that tells us that there's a lot of people that have interest in the NASDAQ. And of course, the NASDAQ has been the strongest index, not just last year and in the past years, but it has been the strongest index on a yearly basis for quite some time. TQQ, going back over the 11, 12-year history of TQQ, TQQ always outperforms the other entities. And so with that being said, I'll take a look here at Qs first. Got to close below the 8-week moving average. Just watch that 432 level. Break that. We're probably going to go down at least to the uptrend line. Uptrend line is what I would be shooting for. What's that look like on a daily chart? This was just a whole mess of kind of like a little bit of a double top thing here. Get the sell off. Not really a reversal candlestick. Filled the gap. Huge down day here. Gapped up here. Closed. That was, I think, Thursday of last week. And now we're pushing down on top of the 50-day moving average. And that jackhammer effect will potentially continue to drive us down. With that said, I want to be aware of either trading options on TQQ, which that works. And I'll just, now that we're bending everything over, I will look at the 8-day moving average for potential triggers in on a potential downside trade, or take a look at SQQQ. SQQQ, note, looks like it's going to be closing above the 8-day moving average. This is good. We had a normal pullback into the midsection of the big green candle and reverse today. What does this look like on the weekly chart? On the weekly chart, before I'm really convinced and confirmed on this, I'm going to be looking for a close above the 8-week moving average. Somewhere it's 1105, and the 8-week moving average is sitting at, see if I can get that to flash up here, about 1105. Yeah, about 1105. So we get up above, close above 1105 for the week. Okay, this is a weekly chart for the week. That looks interesting. Take a look also at IWM. IWM, stand by, because we're getting some very interesting movement on IWM. It's a big deal that IWM on huge volume is closing, appears to be closing below the 50-day moving average. That is one of the ingredients of a longer-term downside slide. It makes sense that the small caps would, that would be happening with the small caps, simply because the small caps are more affected by higher interest rate, inflation, and all that type of stuff, because they're, the smaller cap companies. And so the bell just rang, and we are closed, and we closed below the 50-day moving average. How do I want to trade this now going forward? Well, any type of a move back up into the 50, or when the 8 drops down here a little bit further, if the 8 drops and crosses the 50, it's Bohica time. TNA. So if I were going to trade TNA, I would be trading options on TNA. TNA does have some really excellent weekly options with great open interest. However, we also have TZA, and as you can see, TZA broke and almost broke above the line. Our AutoPilot trading members got into TZA earlier this week, right about here, right about the 1790-ish level. Came really darn close to hitting its profit target number 1, which is 10% up here at 1972. And our trailing stop, our trailing safety stop is already kicked in on this. And so even if this trade now reverses, the worst we'll do is close to break even on it, because I like to make sure for our members that we're taking risk off the table as quickly as possible. And so if you do want to find out more about the AutoPilot trading service, I encourage you, well, one, get my book, Trade Your Way to Freedom. I explain exactly how the system works in there. You can pick that up over on Amazon, or I'll put a link down in the, once I post this over to YouTube, I'll put a link there also. So let's see what's going on here. So TZA, the other one that I'll just mention really quick is the financials. The financials are getting, you would expect, of course, with the banks and the issues with the banks, not good. We have dropped now. This was a great reversal signal. We had a bullish engulfing, drop, pop, okay, opened here on a rally attempt, failed big time. Another rally attempt, failed big time, closing at the 34. Again, keep my eye on the 50-day moving average. That we breached that and closed below. Stand by for going lower. So what's that translate to over here on the weekly chart? Look at the market fork, and the momentum indicators have dropped and crossed over. RSI has broken below the 70 line, And now our market forecast, the green line, is tipping down, but hasn't moved down. Close below the 8-week moving average. Take a look back to the left. The last time that happened, which was here, and this fall from here to here on XLF, well, let's take a better yet. Yeah, we can do it off that. That fall right there, that was about an 11% move down. Well, that equated to FAZ. That same move accounted for a nice little 40% move to the upside on FAZ. So that's what I'm looking at trading is on FAZ. So we covered a lot. And so let's go ahead and pop over here. And I'll say, hey, I'm going to close this down and get this up on the YouTube channel. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat box. And I encourage you. We're really excited over the AutoPilot Premium service because we just launched our Discord server. So all our members can be over there helping each other learn how to trade better and all that type of stuff. And celebrating their wins. We celebrate the wins. And sometimes the wins this past week has been sitting on our hands and not doing anything. So I know I'm not supposed to say aloha, God bless, because then you know that I'm closing the video, but I don't care. Aloha, God bless everybody. See ya.